This is the 2026 Cadillac Escalade, and subtle it is not. In fact, this thing is so enormous, so unapologetically American that when you start it up, a bald eagle probably sheds a single patriotic tear somewhere in the Rockies. I mean, look at it. It's not a car, it's a moving building permit violation. So today I'm going to test it and see if it's still king of the SUVs. The Cadillac Escalade is big, bold, and brazen. It has tremendous road presence, but it does share some underpinnings with the Chevy Suburban and the GMC Yukon. But you don't really need it, but you certainly do want it. The front qualifies for its own zip code, and this grille could probably ventilate a large apartment block. You get Cadillac's signature LED lights and a presence that says, "Get out of my way." The best part is Cadillac has made this, what literally is a rolling tank, look absolutely magnificent. But what if you want a bigger tank? Well, Cadillac can provide you with the Cadillac ESV. So instead of this, it adds a 1.5 feet onto the back of the car. Remember when 22-inch wheels were just crazy big? Well, these are 24. They're an optional extra on this particular car. 24-inch 7-spoke alloy wheels wearing these 285/40 Bridgestone Alenza tires. When I drove the Cadillac IQ last year, it had self-opening doors, and they weren't quite perfect because the door would open and slap into anything that's nearby. Now, Cadillac apparently has made these work a lot better, where they can sense if there's a big pole right here that the door might smash into. So simply by squeezing behind the door handle, tries to open here because we're slightly on a bit of a lean, but you get what I mean by this. It's not something that I really need. So sadly, the turbo diesel is no longer available. So the only engine is in fact the last V8 in a full-size luxury SUV that you can currently buy. So 420 horsepower, 460 foot-pounds of torque, no turbos, no electrification, no apologies. Oh, and 0 to 60 takes around 6 seconds. So when the going gets tough, especially on San Diego's really badly potholed roads, Cadillac has its air suspension system and magnetic ride to soften the blow. So tons of space inside, 120.5 cubic feet with all seats down. Put these ones up, you get about 72. Put the third row up, get around 25, and all of them are operated from buttons from the back, all by power. Except for this row, which you have to manage yourself. And simply press these two, and they come right back up. Easy. Since there's no spare, there's not really much in here. So how much is it? Well, the base prices for this top trim Platinum Sport model is $123,400. Now you do get for that the 38 speaker AKG stereo system, which is actually really very good. This paint is $625, and those wheels I mentioned earlier are $1,800. So add that all up, you got $128,700. Things in the back aren't too bad. I've certainly sat in more cramped 3-row SUVs. Of course, beautiful leather seats. Not too bad from the comfort perspective, and your knees aren't hitting your chin. Headroom is a little bit short supply, but there's okay legroom. This seat is actually all the way back. A couple of cup holders, and that's pretty much it. Things are a lot better in the second row. Of course, this beautiful leather continues. You get an armrest for your weary left arm. Also, the materials are absolutely top-notch. They've done a really good job with this Cadillac. You also get your vents. Right here you've got your climate controls and heated seats. Below that is a couple of cup holders. And below that some additional power outlets. So Cadillac has finally made their interiors the luxury that they've always deserved. They are no longer a Tahoe covered with leather. Speaking of which, these seats are excellent, heated, cooled, multi-way adjustment, and of course, massage. So a brand new 55-inch screen dominates the cockpit. It's surrounded by rich leather, as I mentioned earlier, real wood trim, these aluminum look accents, and a fully upholstered lower dash. It really is impressive. And then the OLED screen is stunning. The interface is really smooth. You get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard. The bad, the driver really has to concentrate on so many screens that span all the way across the dash. Now you do have your main infotainment screen right here. Ahead of the driver, you've got most of the stuff required for driving. You've got your RPMs, you've got your fuel gauge, and then you can change it and customize it to see, you know, what you're playing from your music, or you can scroll through and show various different types of gauges. I'll go into that in a second. Now on the right hand side, you'll see that it says Escalade, and that's all it says, unless there's a passenger sitting in that seat. So once I'm in this seat, you can see that I've got access to YouTube, Hulu, VX, AMC, Disney Channel. So I can go to YouTube. Now at this point we are in park. The driver can actually see this screen. Obviously you've got to plug in your headphones. We'll not bother with that right now, but we could certainly go and have a look at maybe what's going on with the Winter Olympics. Now it has wireless access, and there you go. So ahead of the driver, you can actually go ahead and use this button here, and you can have the gauge, or you can have Google Maps. Really nice map right across the screen. I can go down again and check my driver's assistance. Moves the speedo and the RPMs over to the left hand side, how many miles the vehicle's done, and what my range is. 255 miles of range, and not very good fuel economy so far. And the next one down is night vision. It's not going to work today because obviously it's daytime, so we'll go past that. And then there's a augmented reality camera, so that's kind of what you get for night vision, but it's unavailable because it's daytime. The AR camera is basically augmented reality. You see everything that's ahead of you that you can also see through the windshield. So if you do happen to be looking down for any reason, you can still see any traffic, and then you look back up again. It's kind of cool, but I haven't really used it yet. And then the main infotainment, you can go home, you can scroll through, you got various different things. There's your Wi-Fi hotspot. You can put your Google Maps on here if you want, as well as ahead of the driver. Go back home again. There are also some modes. So you've got my mode, where you can change the steering, suspension, engine sound. I haven't done any of that. Tour mode, everything's softer. Sport mode, everything is harder. Off-road, I doubt anyone's going to take it off-road. And then tow haul. You got my Cadillac, Google Assistant, ambient lighting. You can go for whatever style you want. There are multiple in there. It's a really, really good system. What I do like about it is it's quite a long reach to reach it, and most of the time you sort of have to lean forward a little bit, so you can actually lean your hand on here. This little shelf helps. But if you still can't reach it, you've got a little dial here, and you can scroll through. Physical volume knob. Down here has your auto hold, which is handy, and then your stop start. Now one thing that I don't like is having a screen for your climate controls. I just want some buttons across here. What it does give you though is, because it's quite thin, some additional space back there and a power point, and there's your wireless charger. So here you can control your seats. If you go into position and then adjustments, you can change these various different pieces, so lumbar, middle back, and then shoulders. You've also got some controls here for universal remotes, your night vision. You can do HUD adjustments, so you can bring the height down a little bit. This is where you can open and close the automatic doors, which is slightly strange. You can also open the glove box from here. So if you want to open a door, that one over there, swipe. Door opens, swipe back, and it closes. Once you sit in the vehicle though, and you put your foot on the brake after you started it, the doors will automatically close. I really don't need that kind of help, but whatever, it's available. You got some really good cameras as well. Standard overhead, side cameras. This thing is so packed full of technology. The steering wheel feels really nice in your hands. It's leather covered, of course, and this is the sensor, or rather the display for the light. For Super Cruise, this is the center to make sure that you don't start looking away, climbing the back, playing with the dog, whatever it might be. And the steering wheel is heated. And finally, you've got auto, which is how I leave it, so it decides whether it's going to be two-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. You can have 2 high, you can have 4 high, you can also have 4 low, but I don't know why you would do that. There's your mode button, and then there's your raise or lower the air suspension system. This thing might be a rolling tank, but it's a rolling luxury tank, and it's a fantastic place to be, whether you're powering down a back road, on the highway, or even stuck in a traffic jam. There's so much stuff that you can play with. All right, let's take it for a drive. Let's get going. I'll leave it in auto, and we'll let it do its thing. Get off this little stretch right here. We'll probably end up jumping on the freeway, test out a bit of Super Cruise, and then get off and try it on some back roads. I know, it's pretty big. It's like a house on wheels, but you'll be surprised how nimble this car is. Right. It's pretty rough pavement here, but that air suspension helps a lot, as does the magnetic ride system, which helps to keep this thing under control. And it is very quiet. Just a small amount of wind noise coming from these enormous mirrors. And the 10-speed transmission mates really well with this engine. It rarely is hunting for the right ratio. It took that corner pretty well. We're getting on the freeway. Right, we set it for 73. Let's hit Super Cruise. Okay, hands-free driving is now active. So we'll just cruise down here a little bit. The little green light is on right here. Actually a thinner green light than there was on the other vehicles with Super Cruise I've tried. So now we're just no hands, no pedals, cruising. It's a really good system. And you can't see this, but you may be able to see the head-up display is now showing my speed. It's also showing the speed that it's set to, despite the fact that it's now doing 75 and it should be doing 73. So I'm assuming it's supposed to be applying the brakes at some point. It's applying the brakes, and it's doing an automatic lane change. Actually, I'm going to override the system, so I need to get off here, but it was about to make an automatic lane change to get past this bus. I'm slightly concerned about the brakes. They do require a hefty push to get them to work. They do stop the car, but I feel like something of this weight might just want to have the Brembos that you get on the Cadillac V version of this car. Gets up to speed quite quickly. Let's try it on this twisty road here. See how it does. God, it rides so smooth though. But let's see what the handling's like. And even though it feels massive, it is possible to hustle this car just like I'm doing right now. Oh, it's going to get a little ragged in some of the tighter turns because it's not a sports car. I think it's quick enough for me. I mean, I did enjoy the V, and the exhaust on that thing was incredible, but I think this is quick enough. couple of tighter turns here to navigate through. Pretty planted, even though it's got Bridgestones. See, it holds really well in these sort of fast sweepers. A little bit up here, the road gets a little more potholed. This is reasonably smooth. But considering its weight, it's fairly nimble. I always like vehicles that exceed my expectations. This one is handling better than I expected. This is quite a tight one for this car, but you know what? It's doing remarkably well. So this is where you get sort of a transition. It's a little bumpy but smooth, and then here, 1, 2, 3, but planted. Very nice, very smooth. Body motions are really kept in check by that magnetic suspension system that Cadillac pretty much invented, I believe. So it's a little bit technical around here. There's some nasty rocks. So they don't want to hit those. These are pretty tight turns. Hasn't put a foot wrong so far. Real firm push on the brakes going down this hill. Good job, Cadillac. I mean, they did definitely have to improve their interiors. They were trying to be a luxury car, and some of their interiors were not so good. Obviously, it is based on the, you know, the Tahoe, all those GMCs, Yukons, etc. But I think this is the one that's most distinct from those. And the interior is absolutely stunning. Drives well. It's not very economical, of course. It's got plenty of acceleration for a car of this size. And I would say that Cadillac has done an excellent job here. So what do we think? Well, the 2026 Cadillac Escalade is not rational. It's not environmentally friendly, but it is magnificent. It's a living room on wheels. And I didn't used to like cars of this size, but it is a fantastic place to be just wafting around in near silence. It's got plenty of power, forget fuel economy obviously, and yeah, it is pricey, but you know what? I absolutely love it. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time with another video. Out.